Dum-dum, Beedle-dum-dum, Beedle-dum-dum, Beedle-dum-dum. There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and Bert the turtle was very alert. When danger threatened him, he never got hurt. He knew just what to do. He ducked and covered, ducked and covered.
He did what we all must learn to do. You
and you
and you
and you, duck and cover.
Hello, South Africa, and welcome to Duck and COVID episode 9. I'm one of your hosts, Grant Towers. We have Matt Lewis with us and Douglas White again. And we are joined by the indomitable Nick Bredenkamp. How are you doing, Nick? Are you cool?
I'm fine yourself, thanks. Thanks for asking.
Good. Awesome. Good. Now, Nick, we get into the chat with you. We're just going to quickly give over to Doug to give us the most recent statistics on how we're doing in the world with COVID-19 and in South Africa.
Okay, well, if anybody's been following through for the last 8 other episodes, you will notice that the last 2 we've been talking about the possibility of getting to 1 million cases. That has happened. We've had 1,055,853 cases of COVID confirmed. Obviously, that does not include the number of recovered cases. In fact, the total number of active cases is only about 776,000. So we haven't quite broken the active cases there yet, which is a relief. As for South Africa, today's figures show us at 1,505, with 43 new cases today. Our total death rate's coming up to 7 cases in total. However, that is a bit iffy because an article came out on EWN earlier today where they reported 3 cases, and we are not sure whether that is new cases in total or included in the number 7 or not. So what we're saying is it could be as high as 10 or as low as 7. In other news, the health minister has decided to relax a few of the COVID-19 rules for lockdown. Taxis are now allowed to reach 70% capacity, and masks are recommended. And buses 50%. People are also now allowed to cross provinces to attend funerals, so long as they have a death certificate of the person they're going to go and see the funeral for, and a permission letter from SAPS. Needless to say, I think this is a little premature, but you know, that's the government's job, not mine. In other COVID-19 deaths, standing at 7 officially, there have also been 6 deaths as a result of police action, and 2 others of people in custody, bringing that total to 8. So the number of people that have died as a result of police action during the lockdown is equivalent to those who have actually died of the virus. So I would just like to encourage people once again to please stay home as much as possible. You know, don't go out, don't mess with the police, or particularly the South African National Defence Force. These people are soldiers. They are not trained as police. They're trained as soldiers. And that's the news.
Yeah, I think the thing to take into consideration here is that everyone is stressed. Everyone is stressed. Don't push your luck with people, especially when they're already stressed. I understand that for some people, yes, you are living in dire stress and all that stuff, but if you are confronted with the law, then rather just take it calmly. I mean, if some of our followers have been seeing the posts that have been going up on our page, there's that one post from that person who looks like he's in security or in law enforcement, and he is literally losing everything at the moment. So everyone is under stress. Just try be peaceful, try be calm with each other, just show a bit more grace with each other, I guess. Yeah. Enough of my preaching. Let's give over to Nick. Nick, what has this COVID lockdown been like for you? What's happening for you? I believe you are on the game reserve. Hey,
I am. I'm very fortunate, luckily. We were given, well, obviously everyone knew on the news that the lockdown was going to happen before the president actually made his announcement. So we have a lot of environmental students on the reserve at the moment, and they decided to bounce back to the city before the lockdown took place. So we had a great exodus off the reserve. And myself and a few other people have decided to stay on here because it's better than being in the city, quite frankly. You know, it's a little more inconvenient in some respects, but in many other respects, it's a lot more enjoyable. I have got the run of the reserve. I can move around, I can breathe, and there's only 5 people sharing a couple hundred hectares of land. Wow. So it's actually quite nice. So, but that being said, I went outside. I was luckily, or unluckily, I had to go to Shishui yesterday, which is where we stay, and the town of Shishui, not the nature reserve. And the town itself is a bit of a mess. The police there are not quite sure what's going on. And I had just a couple of chats to various farm owners and reserve managers and just people in the local community here. And we're all kind of on the same page that we're kind of really concerned about the situation at hand, because a lot of the lodges here have lost all occupancy for the next 3 months. And that with most lodges, they're kind of living hand to mouth every single month. You know, they're relying on 1 month to get through the next month, wait for their tourism season, their busy season to basically bring in the big bucks. And that's all gone out the window. On my side, personally, I've lost 3 months worth of income. So I'm not going to be, I've got no bookings regarding tourism or any education programs or anything else that I do for 3 months. So I'm so to speak. And on top of that, a lot of my clients who are supposed to pay me from last month have not got the money to pay me because they've lost all their money as well. So I've basically lost that 4 months income. So it's a massive cascade effect, and people there in the conservation industry are really looking to jump ship. And it's a tragedy because it could not come at a worse time. South African conservation really needs boots on the ground. We need people that are dedicated. We need people that are aware of the fact that this is not a paying industry. And we all kind of signed up for that initially, knowing it's not a paying industry. We don't do this for the money. But the idea is that at least you'd like to be able to put bread on the table at the end of the day. And now there's this massive sort of Damocles hanging over our head saying, when is this final chop going to happen? Are we going to get fired? Fortunately, I work myself, but a lot of lodges are letting staff go. A lot of places are a lot of the freelancers just are not going to be able to survive. Fortunately, there seems to be some sort of contingency plans for the anti-poaching units and security guards on the reserves, and those guys are integral. And what's happening now is I've just heard from various friends in the grapevine that because of the sudden drop-off in tourists or complete absence of tourists on these reserves is that poaching is skyrocketing because there's no human presence on the reserve.
Oh my God.
So we're really worried about this, and this is something that is, from my personal view, and this is of course, opinions, everyone's got an opinion. I never felt that the 5-star lodge program in South Africa for ecotourism was a sustainable system because we're relying completely on outside income. Yeah. South Africans can't afford this. I don't only do tourism, I do conservation management and wilderness management and environmental education programs at school groups. So tourism is just one aspect of the things that I'm involved with. And when you look at these 5-star, 4-star lodges, 70 to 80% of their income is from abroad. And with this kind of thing, even if South Africa manages, we get over this in 21 days, we've had cutoffs for 3 months. And our local guys might be able to book a month in advance and say, okay, next month we're coming. But with most international tourists, they book a year in advance, 6 months to a year. And this is just going to really torpedo, it's the only word I can use, torpedo the 5-star and 4-star tourism industry for the foreseeable future. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I'm hearing from all the horror stories regarding income. And that, of course, is going to put massive pressure on funding for anti-poaching and for conservation programs, because these reserves exist because they put bread on the table for the communities. The communities typically want farming land, they want land for their cattle, for their grazing, and for subsistence farming. And a lot of these developers make the agreement with them that if you give us a certain percentage of your land, we will set up reserves, and we will employ your staff to work on these reserves. And that's why the community is now happy to have this happen, because especially with this population.
Sorry, one moment, Nick. Can you just repeat that? Sorry, we lost you there for a second.
So having, what did you hear last? Sorry.
The last thing we heard was that the communities were happy to have them on the land because of employment.
Okay, yeah. So the communities are happy to have them on the land, have these reserves on taking up their land and not being used upon because it is financially worth their while. And now this is not going to be financially worth their while because these lands are going to be sitting without tourists, without income. People are going to be let go. They're going to be sent home without work, and that's going to put a lot of tension between the communities whose tribes own these lands, because most of this is tribal land. It's not owned by the government, and it's not owned by developers. Especially in Kwa-Zulu, where I work, it's predominantly Zulu, belong to the various Zulu trusts in the area and the local Amakosi chiefs. So
wow, that cascade effect is quite dramatic.
Yeah, it's massive, and I'm going to see a lot of reserves unfortunately closing down. I mean, not me personally, I don't know, but I'm just where I work. I think there's going to be a lot of reserves, and it's quite frightening, to be honest. And I think we really need to rethink the way that we do ecotourism in South Africa. It can't all be 5-star. We need to have a lot more sustainable programs like the Kruger National, it's affordable to the everyday South African. We need to have large tracts of wilderness experience where community reserve owners get together, group in their land, and create large reserves of 150,000, 300,000 hectares, rather than these piecemeal 8,000 hectares. I'm up in Shishlui, and there are several dozen reserves ranging between 4,000 and 12,000 hectares, all bordering each other, but they're all fenced off from each other on the premise that they got their 5-star lodges, and their 5-star lodge carries the reserve. But that's not going to happen now. So I think that these reserve managers. Sorry?
I just want to ask a question out of interest. You say there are several dozen or a dozen or so reserves right next to one another, but fenced off.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, if that's happening, are they doing it because they've got the 5-star lodge on a particular piece of land? So what they're trying to do is limit the movement of the animals?
Well, see, this is the problem with conservation. Conservation and landowners don't usually agree either. Most landowners are not in conservation. They have this premise that they're in conservation, that they care about the animals, but they're not. They're business owners, and they're running a business. So they open up a lodge on a land. Some of these business owners own the land, like their traditional Afrikaans farms, or they've been bought by developers, but a lot of them are community land. And so because you have a community piece of land right next to a private piece of land, the guys don't want to share their animals. And for me, that's not conservation. You're not actually in conservation if you're in that. You're basically farming.
You're just trying to make money.
Yeah, that is farming. Yeah.
The expansion of wilderness and wildlife. If you've got 2 4,000 hectare reserves, their carrying capacity is not the same as 1 to 8,000 hectare reserve. For instance, if you had to have, as an example, you could have 10 hectares, 10 elephants on a 4,000 and 10 elephants on another 4,000. But if you had to put drop the fences and have an 8,000 hectare reserve, you would be able to carry 30 elephants.
Wow.
So, and they've shown this with the Kruger National, where they've dropped the fences between the private reserves and the Kruger National, and the animals are benefiting from that. And this, in case of cutthroat, really totalitarian business approach to conservation, and community and private landowners will not see eye to eye. And I think this is going to put private business owners into a corner where they're going to have to consider opening up mega reserves like the Kruger National and allowing everyday visitors just to come in and drive around, spend 250 rand per vehicle. And that will, firstly, if they can do this, that'll be great for conservation for local people, because most South Africans have never seen a zebra in their life. Most South Africans have never seen an elephant in their life.
I haven't been to the beach.
Yeah, they've been to the beach. But I mean, I'm from Durban. People say, "Oh, you got elephants. Aren't you scared?" And I said, "I'm more scared of walking down the street in Durban than I am of any elephant." I see them all the time. I mean, I walk in the dark back to my tent at night, and I've got a leopard lurking around. I'm not afraid of them. I'm afraid of the local guys who are mug me if I'm walking to the supermarket. So
rather stay on the reserve than go back home.
And we spend our time in South Africa alienating ourselves from the bush. I mean, all of our cities, I mean, if you read my online blogs, about how we alienate ourselves from the bush. I mean, our cities are not Africa anymore. Our cities are as European as they come. Plant bougainvilleas and jackdaws and pine trees, and we eradicate all the indigenous plants. And hopefully, I'm looking at a positive light. I'm trying to look at a positive light. Hopefully, if we force people landowners to allow prices to drop and to allow everyday people to come into these wilderness experiences, they'll develop a bit of a love for the bush and hopefully want to expand that back into their suburbs. And that's what I do. I try to get everyday people into conservation, and by conservation into a new garden back into a reserve. And there's not that mindset in South Africa. Most South Africans have never been to the bush. They have no idea what it is. I mean, they think that Johannesburg and Durban and Cape Town are bush. I mean, that's not. South Africa.
And that's crazy. I mean, if you drive just an hour away from Pretoria, Johannesburg, you're in the bush. Yeah. It's not like it's not accessible. So maybe the positive thing of this whole crisis is that hopefully the government does actually take a step towards
not just
changing
private people as well.
Yeah, but changing the landscape for game reserves that it is more accessible to the public.
Well, that's the thing.
So we can only hope, I guess.
That's what it sounds like you're saying, Nick. These guys are not going to be able to survive in their current format as five-star hotels. In order to survive this crisis, it sounds like you're saying they have to open up. They're going to have to lower their prices, and they're going to have to look at the local tourism market, at least for the next 24 months. 12 months
anyway,
in order to make ends meet.
The locals. And the only way they're going to do that is drop prices, because we cannot afford 20,000 rand a night. I don't know who in South Africa can afford, 8,000 to 20,000 a night. I mean, that's just not our price range. And we sure as hell fly out to private nature reserves. I mean, I looked at the price of chartering private flights. It's the charts, 30,000 rand from Durban up to Pongola. So that's not the average South African's price range. So we're going to really have to. I mean, I'm not in finance. I'm not in economics, but I just, from my own personal experience, seeing what people are spending. And even if you tell a South African, I mean, some places say, "Oh, you can do a day drive at a nature reserve." A couple private reserves in KZN do day drives at about 1,200 rand per person per drive. So you drive into the reserve, and I mean, you get a once in a lifetime experience. But if you've got a family of 6, a day visit is 7,000 rand, and it's a hell of a lot of money for the everything. So I think reserves are just going to have to rethink their management policies. And the thing that I'm terrified about is that they're going to close doors, and the community is going to take the land back, and there's going to lose what we've been working towards the last.
You're breaking up a bit bad now, Nick.
Wildlife 120 years ago.
Sorry, Nick. The last thing we heard was what you're terrified about. The last thing we heard was you said, "I'm terrified about."
What I'm terrified about is that communities are going to reclaim this land after these reserves are forced to shut down. And that's really because they need the land, and they're going to take the land unless the land generates money.
Nick, I'm gonna just cut you off a bit there. I'm afraid we go a bit over time here. So I'm have to call meetings in the end. But thank you so much for giving us a view into your world. It's crazy. Like, I knew the impact was going to be severe, but this is some hectic stuff.
I'll just discuss this to the next everything else.
Yeah, I can imagine. Can you give us your blog, the URL, so that I'll maybe also get a look there?
I've got a couple of different platforms. Most of the stuff I repost on Facebook, so you can follow me at Nick Bredenkamp, Nick Bredenkamp. I'm on a couple of different platforms, but most of what I post, I repost on Facebook just because it's easy access. And I'm on Instagram as well. All my wildlife is
in the description of this video. We will include, if you can, I'll get the name of your blogs from you, and we'll include it in the description of this video, so that people who do want to follow you about conservation can do. and all of that.
I have one more thing to add before we close off, being that this is the sort of the nature one. I got a notification saying that Kruger Park are doing 2 virtual game drives a day, which you can watch live on YouTube. So there's a morning drive at 5:30 to 8:30, and an afternoon drive from 3:30 until 6:30. So there's a little bit of accessibility for you, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I say we'll put the link up on that in the description as well. So we'll have your blog if we can get that information from you, Nick, and then we'll put the link for the live YouTube game drive as well. Maybe encourage people when they're no longer locked in their houses, they can. After having recovered a little bit from this lockdown financially, go out and see if they
can always come out to the bush and spend a couple of days with me getting dirty. I do a lot of wilderness trails, camp outs, that sort of stuff. And my whole thing is I don't like luxury conservation. My whole thing is if you go into the bush, you go into the bush. We're camping out in tents.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I've been doing this for a while now, and I think that's the way conservation should be. You're going out of the bush, enjoy the bush.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you have to have someone escort you back to your tent at night because there's lions and leopards and elephant around. That's a lot more fun.
That's cool.
Whoa.
In my opinion.
That's very cool.
I say that we'll get that link from you as well. We'll get that link from you as well, and we'll put it up so that people can connect with you directly. Is that cool?
Yes, thanks.
All right.
Okay, Nick.
Anyway,
well, thank
boys,
you so much.
I think that that is time, and we do need to be on our way. But Nick, thank you very much, and everybody, stay safe out there. Stay duck and covered. All right.
Yeah. Bye, South Africa.
Cheers, guys.
There was a turtle by the name of Bert, and Bert the turtle.
Hello Internet, good news. If you've watched this far, then you are in luck. You are a winner. No, just kidding, not really, but thank you very much for watching. Please do share and like if you enjoyed. And more importantly, stay safe, stay sane, stay sexy. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
And you, duck and cover.
Be sure and remember what Bert the Turtle just did, friends, because every one of us must remember to do the same thing.